Welcome back to 32 All the Way. Today we are going to speak to Tiegan Clyne, an author who has been writing since the late 90s, 99. She told me earlier to be specific.
Mm-hmm.
And the story today is going to be Ghosted by You. How are you, Tiegan?
I'm well. How are you?
Not too bad. Can't complain. Can't complain. So let's start with your story. I don't like to give too much away. I have a couple of questions to ask, but give me a rundown of what you would like people to know about Ghosted by You.
It's a reverse harem ghost adventure, which is, it's sort of based on a ghost hunting TV show where the men on the cast are forced to accept a new member of their team who is a female psychic, and they don't like psychics. They don't believe in them, and so they give her a really hard time to begin with, and she has to prove herself.
So here is my first question off the bat. There's a couple things I found really interesting reading through this. I'm about halfway through it. Where do you fall on this line? Because it seems to me kind of, I don't know what the right word here is. I don't know if it's naive or contradictory. These guys are hunting ghosts, but they think the medium's an idiot, or the psychic is an idiot.
That happens more than you think.
Really?
That happens more than you think, actually. Yeah, there's a lot of people that believe in ghosts, but they don't believe psychics. They believe that they can get scientific evidence of ghosts using EMF detectors and various equipment, and that is the real proof, but that psychics aren't proof. Psychics are bullshit.
Yeah, I find that really interesting. I mean, I can see how I'm kind of a skeptic in all of those things. And that doesn't really enter into your story. I thought your story was great, but I would just assume, looking from the outside, that you're really into this one, that you would at least be open to the possibility of this one. So
you should be, but I actually know people on ghost hunting groups that refuse to accept anything that is not on their equipment because it's too new agey, or it's they don't believe it, which is weird to me.
Now, what's your person? Sorry, go ahead.
Some of it, you should be in for all of it. It seems to me like if you're going to be believing some of it, you should believe all of it.
So what's your personal view on both sides of the coin there?
I'm a believer. I was raised by a family where my grandparents on my mom's side were spiritualist ministers and mediums, so ghosts and seances and things like that were just part of the landscape when I was growing up.
Oh, okay.
So, and I've had experiences, and so
that's awesome. Now, what I find hilarious is how you wrote so well about three just teenage jerks. each one of those guys doesn't come across in the best of light.
Well, yeah.
Especially and I'm sorry, I just been reading it the last couple nights, but
No, it's fine.
Who I think are the two main characters, the guy who is the self-professed leader, and the smart guy, like books, always seems to get kicked to the side. They only come to the smart guy when they really need.
Exactly. Yeah. They're very much frat boys.
And I thought that was a really interesting take on it, because they seem to be, how can I say this? They seem to be aware of the fact that they're needed on the show, but they're not needed enough that anybody's going to put up with too much from them. And
because they could be replaced.
Sorry, go ahead.
They could be replaced.
I find it really fascinating. My wife and I talk about this all the time. I can honestly say I've never seen an episode of Survivor. I've never seen an episode of Paradise Island, if you want to call them. I'm just not interested. And when you see these shows and they get in and they get these big numbers and they're so amazing, and somebody just, you're going to leave or you're going to get your own show. It's like, dude, they're going to replace you like before the door closes behind you. And I just think it's great that these guys are really cognizant of the fact that, we got a really smart guy. We've got the pretty boy leader. We've got the guy who seems to be the balance between the two of them. And they all know, like, boom, we're out the door if we fight this too much.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, the whole idea of the other character being a female is obviously by design. So there is tension that comes up later on, or would you think it would have worked? Would it have worked as well if you threw a guy in there?
No,
role?
Not for the premise of the book. Probably not, because having it be a female, apart from setting up for the reverse harem aspect of it, it amplifies the differences.
Yes.
So it gives them something even more to object to, because it's like they're their little boys club, and then somebody's shoehorning a girl in there, and it's like the treehouse clubhouse that says no girls allowed, but then all of a sudden a girl's there.
I found it very
that adds to the tension.
I found it very fascinating that you were up front with that, saying, well, you can sleep with one of them, you can sleep with all of them, and then describing a couple things early on in the book. I thought it was really interesting that you got to that point. People seem to dance around all that, and I mean, it's gone on from the beginning of time. It's going to go on for the next million years if we're still on this planet. It was just nice to see it addressed early on. That every guy at this table thinking, wow, where can this go?
Yeah, exactly. It would be disingenuous not to address it. It'd be completely disingenuous not to address it.
Well, we're being shut down by so much right now, and not to go on a whole other thing. I want to focus on your book, but we're being shut down by so much. It was interesting to see that being played out and that being put in the forefront. She's being put there for her abilities, but you make it very clear that this is not an unattractive woman.
Right.
That everybody
and that's
sees
partially
this.
why she was chosen.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that plays out a little more in the story. Like I said, about halfway through, but want to see what else comes up with it. Any idea of making this into a series, killing off those guys
Absolutely.
and then making her out front?
Actually, no. They're all going to be getting closer and more united as a group, and I'm working on the sequel right now.
Oh, that's awesome. I've been trying to picture this out as I go through. I didn't know if you would be interested in, like, the girl continues on with maybe one of the guys, or they kick the one guy out and you bring somebody else in. It's interesting to see the dynamic in a group, to see how it might go forward.
Yeah, it's a reverse harem book, so she's going to be with all of them by the end of it.
Oh, that's awesome. And the other characters, the professor, the producer, the people that seem to be fawning all over them.
Yeah.
They going to follow for the ride?
One of them falls off in the second book, but the majority of them are going to be along for the ride.
Yeah, I love the whole, I'm wording this terribly, the whole ass kissiness of it. It just seems, it seems between the female producer talking to the media could have said something that was total garbage, and that woman would have been like, that's so great. And with the boys, they pretty well, I know. With the boys, they pretty well could have said to this guy, hey, go shoot that guy for us. And the guy, yeah, all right, I'll go shoot him right now. I just love the whole the whole showbiz side of it, where they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's fantastic. It's really it's an interesting read.
Yeah, it's thank you. The Hollywood bullshit is a big important part of it, and I'm sorry I keep swearing. It's just
no, you know what? I'm actually trying to be a little fucking quieter here, because I'm usually every other word is the F word, and depending on how the other conversations go. To tell you really quick, I'm trying to put these all on YouTube. Obviously, we've talked about this before, and I've read a couple chapters of my own book, and there's no way ever of getting it monetized, because if you've read the first couple of chapters, you've seen that.
I have.
Fuck is a verb, is a noun, is a term of endearment, is an expression.
I'm working on it as a prepositional phrase, but
and whenever a couple people have brought it up, and I tell them the same thing all the time, if anything, I've toned it down from how the guys in my area used to talk.
Yeah, well, your book it's a very real slice of life of the group that you're trying to portray.
Thank you.
And I see you've got your poster for your book there in the background down the lane. And I've read probably 3/4 of it now. And it puts you so solidly in that society.
That's great.
And it wouldn't be right if there wasn't the swearing and the drugs and the sex and the.
This is what I tried to explain to people. I really tried to pull away from any gratuitous kind of sex scenes, because I just, and we all know what we're talking about. We know where the thing was set, but some people were offended by, again, the language and the drug use. And I keep telling people, I toned it down. I toned it down huge compared to what it was really like.
Yeah. You have to include that stuff for it to be realistic for the milieu that you're talking about. There's just no other way to do it.
We were talking earlier before we came on camera about Tuolga Via and about how you're familiar with the area and the Hells Angels being there
Yeah.
and stuff. And the one compliment I got over and over again is it's not glorifying these guys, but it's not making them look like, which to me seems to be the two kind of things that come out in the writing. And also with your characters, you're kind of making them shitty guys, but you're not making them bad guys. They're fitting their situation. That's what I really like. You can kind of see through that.
Thank you. They're brosefs, you know.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that mentality is never going to change.
Oh no. As long as there's young guys, there's always going to be that attitude.
You know, yeah, it's really scary. It really is. So our best bet here is to go on Amazon. You were telling me earlier this is an Amazon exclusive.
Yes. That's right. Amazon exclusively, and this is what it looks like.
Fantastic.
And
any previous
book 2
sorry, book two will be
next month, released
already
month. Yeah.
I'll try and put all these in the tag for you. And is there anything previous to this that you would like mentioned or think that anyone should check up on, or are we going to focus on this for now?
I've got a lot of books that I've written, both as Tiegan Clyne and as J.A. Cummings, my other me.
Okay.
But the only other one for Tiegan, I've got another series that I'm working on. It's actually gay science fiction fantasy.
Okay.
And the first book, it's called Dragonelle.
Okay.
And other than that, I've got some co-writes that aren't really my forefront right now.
Okay.
But that's where I'm focusing right now.
The switch in the
is on the Dragonelle and the Ghost You. Pardon me?
Oh, sorry about that. I thought you were done talking. The switch in the names, two different kind of materials, or just you decide to take a pen name along the way?
I decided to take a pen name for different materials. When I started writing Reverse Harem, I decided that I'd have that separate from my other work, which is a little bit more high fantasy, less outre, I suppose.
Okay.
And the Tiegan Clyne is where I write my saucy stuff.
Okay.
There's a lot more explicit sex scenes. There's a lot more, like in Cryptomorphs, there's BDSM elements and things like that. And under J.A. Cummings, it's a little bit cleaner. So.
Okay. So that's by design.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. You know what? I thank you so much for your time. This has been really interesting. We're going to get this loaded up and go through and see what's going on. And if you would like to, maybe in another couple of weeks, come back, we can finish discussing Ghosted by You when I'm done reading it. And if you want to come back and provide a little more info on Down the Lane, I'm obviously not going to stop you.
I would love to. Thank you.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Tiegan. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.